BTC, Bitcoin. There's an executive order that's going to be coming out in a week or two here. And regulatory everything in America is happening soon. Let's take a look at this this trading pattern. I just went over the whole market, but let me deep dive on the crypto market, and this bear flag rejection is pretty obvious, and nobody should be surprised there, I think. But yeah, anyway, please like the video, comment, and tell me what you think Bitcoin's about to do. I still have this neckline breaking arrow from my last video, but yeah, let's talk about the executive order first, I suppose, because they're not going to be coming out with like regulatory procedures or anything on the executive order. They're just going to be creating more of those 3 or 4 letter sort of departments or whatever that are gonna start regulating things. So there's a whole legal storm coming at Bitcoin right now, and go watch my Bitcoin playlist. I have Craig Wright, Satoshi Nakamoto, like Black Swan playlist that explains all of these things in depth over and over. But just to summarize, Craig Wright is the founder of Bitcoin. He is, and BSV is the chain now that actually matches the white paper that is actually Bitcoin, and it's legally compliant. BTC is not legally compliant. It's not scalable. They messed up the block sizes. They went and changed the whole protocol where it doesn't work, and they screwed the block sizes up. They screwed like the in timers up, so you can't put timers on your contracts. They screwed the script up, so you can't do logic on your contracts. And it's not scalable, so they go to like a Lightning Network, which is a third-party system, which completely defeats the purpose of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is designed to not need a third party. Anyway, Craig has a pile of patents. Craig is going to come after the Bitcoin people, especially in EU jurisdictions, for fraud and for passing off and for illegally copying the entire Bitcoin database and all of the data and coins on the chain. They're going to be liable for. And then Jack Dorsey came out and created a Bitcoin defense fund for like the core devs and stuff like that, because they're going to need legal defense. But anyway, now we also have the SEC saying that they're going to work on regulating, well, the banking system and the stock markets and crypto, like just vaguely, which who knows what they'll do. But this executive order is going to be a real thing. They're going to create these special purpose, whatever they call them, departments with their 4-letter acronyms. Just like they did right before like the big MMT spending explosion on COVID, they came out and created all of those 4-letter words. But yeah, anyway, this is going to take, I think, a little while to sort of ramp up, but it's happening. Like, there's legal stuff coming at BTC from a bunch of fronts, and this is going to affect any crypto that's not legally compliant, which is literally every single one except BSV, which is designed to be legally compliant, like common law contracts. And like they're going to do know your customer rules, which know your customer rules already apply to all the cryptos without needing any legal changes, because know your customer rules are based on a certain amount of funding, which doesn't have to be a currency or money. Like, they've come out in court and said, like, oh, like if you're using Rolex watches to fund something, like that falls under KYC. And so it's the same thing with all of the cryptos. But yeah, I mean, I think any crypto that's not scalable is going to get in huge trouble. Any crypto that's like not legally compliant, this entire anarchy thing, isn't going to be flying soon. But the entire story that Bitcoin is an anarchy, anti-government thing is completely wrong. It was designed to be legally compliant, to be a public ledger system where you can prove your ownership. You're semi-anonymous. You're not anonymous. You're pseudonymous, so you can prove that you own things. You can go to court. You can take a court order to the miners. The miners can, give you stolen property back. They can give you your coins back. That's how it was designed. Public ledger system. Yeah, anyway, that's all happening on Bitcoin. Let me zoom out on the chart. I've just been talking about all this stuff. But I think it's probably like 2 weeks before we start seeing legal stuff that looks scary happening. For now, it's just like soon. It should happen soon, but they're not giving a date. But in any case, you can see where we broke out of the top of the ribbon twice here, which is different. We've like the previous busts, not busts, I mean, I guess like the parabolic like blow off tops have just like shot out of the top of the ribbon once here, and then the older one here just shot out of the top once. But like in Elliott wave terms, I think what we've got here is this is a wave 5 termination, and we've got the M double top. And the point of a double top, like anytime someone says like a head and shoulders or a double top or whatever, this is what's actually happening, is you're jumping on top of a downtrend, then you're crossing over, and then you're picking up underneath a wedge. So you set up a wedge, a descending wedge, and that starts your bear move. And it doesn't really matter what the crossover move looks like. I mean, you can get a crossover move that looks like a head and shoulders with a higher middle, crossover move like this where it dips and comes up and you get 2 tops. It doesn't matter which top is higher. They can be way different heights. The head and shoulders can be at sort of any angle. But anyway, that's the idea with a topping pattern, as you jump on a downtrend and then you get stuck under another one. And that's when you start heading down. And then the neckline thing, I think, is a little bit more psychology than actual like technicals, but there is a tendency if you break the neckline to make like a big move out of there. Like you can gap out of the neckline when you break it, because I think people just freak out, and everyone knows that pattern, and that's definitely a risk. But yeah, again, like this is all of February right here. Like we don't have to come down until March potentially. But anyway, I definitely have a bearish outlook on BTC. I'm shorting the BITO. None of this is investment advice. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Go do your own research on all this stuff I'm saying too, because there's tons of like allegations and stuff flying around, and like the Bitcoin people are going to have to defend themselves. Like Craig Wright is going to have to defend fraud allegations as well. But yeah, like the BITO is an uncorrelated, a leveraged ETF that can potentially be uglier than the BTC price itself. Like it could do worse than the underlying, although there's not actually anything underlying. It just tracks the price. And you can short it from inside of investment funds or retirement funds. You can buy options on it, like in normal stuff, like in E-Trade and Fidelity and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's one of my shorts. And then MARA is my big short that I've been riding for even longer. I got in MARA pretty close to the peak here. And this one is interesting because we have this neckline setup that's happening like now. So if it breaks this thing in the next couple of days, like MARA could rain. There might be a chance to like close some MARA shorts and rotate into other things, like if BTC hasn't broken down yet, or yeah, let's see what ETH is doing, because ETH was like overselling. Yeah, it has like a downtrend, but now it's like even getting steeper. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. ETH just looks like it's doing worse than BTC. That might even be a better short than BTC, or a better long. It's just like more volatile. But yeah, you can see my pattern on this. And same kind of thing. You can see you jump on the downtrend and cross over. And so this is kind of a double top thing too. But yeah, I view all those patterns as pretty much the same thing. Like the double tops or like the head and shoulders tops. Like, it's all the same thing. You're just picking up downtrends and doing a crossover. And like, people get too hung up on like the shape of the crossover. Yeah, Tesla memes are looking like trouble. Let me go back. Oh, Nicola. Yeah, this is another short that I have on right now that is ahead, but it's like not that great. I want to see if this thing like moves really soon, or I'm going to close this out and do something else. But yeah, Tesla, the lines didn't load up. But check this thing out. Like, Tesla here did like a crossover thing here. Let's make this a solid line. See how it jumped on the downtrend, and then it did like a swooping like jump, and I don't know which line it's stuck under. It looks like we're stuck under this steep one on Tesla. So this could get interesting if Tesla gets stuck under this steep line. Like, Tesla can move right now because it's breaking the whole structure, everything, like right now. Yeah. So other like miners, I guess, while we're looking at these things. Where's MARA? Let's see. Yeah, right. MicroStrategy is a similar chart to MARA. See how the neckline? See how when it broke the neckline, it did like one huge dump, and now it's kind of consolidating because it made such a big move down. But that's the kind of thing, like, you get trapped under this downtrend, you break a neckline, and then you do like a gapping dump. That's pretty common. So anytime we get near these necklines on all these charts I've been showing, MARA is pushing into one right now, and if it does like a huge dump like that, I'll probably just go ahead and move into a different short. But you can see Riot and HUT, like the other miners, are doing similar kind of stuff. They're like on channel areas where it looks like they could break. Yeah, like testing channels, blowing the structure, testing channels. But MARA just looks like it's just more memey. Like, it just blew up. It was headed down to less than $1, and it just ripped like to 70 or so. And now, yeah, I don't know how far down it could go. But I think it has all of the crypto downside and all the meme stock downside, like, all at the same time, and the general market downside. So this was just a super obvious short. But I mean, there are some other ones that have like done a gapping down move. Like Facebook just did one after hours tonight. Gato Silver did one. They had a bad report come out about their mines, and it just dumped, like went from 10 to 2 or something. So, and that's like right at a neckline too, which I was thinking was going to be a good thing, but it just broke the neckline and just gapped out of there. And like, yeah, there's a news story that came out along with that, but I'm going to start looking for these necklines and shorting them shorting them and seeing if you can get a gap move like that is monster. I completely missed that thing. On the bullish side, like, Sens was one of my favorite bull plays, and it's pulled down, and now it's starting to look like it's blown the bull flag. But maybe it holds. We'll see what the market does. This is the closest thing to a bull flag. GameStop blew its bull flag, but it did catch support on the next channel here, and so that is at least interesting. Like, if it breaks this downtrend, GME could get interesting, and I don't know what it would do after this, but you know, this could rally. Like, GameStop could rally, Sens could rally. Those ones are interesting. What else? Like treasuries, right? That's a huge deal. Huge deal with crypto is treasuries. All right, so the last peak was like December 2017. That was like around here. So we had treasuries and Bitcoin coming down together off of the big peak, but this rip up in treasuries was the whole run up on Bitcoin, like this is the continuation of the bear market. I just said that backwards. Like we had the treasuries coming down a little bit, but this move up was most of the Bitcoin bear market, and this move down was the big pump that we had on Bitcoin, and this move down was actually the little pump that we had in the middle. So treasuries coming down, like Bitcoin's just been moving the opposite way of like the treasury bond trading, pretty much. But right now, like just in this little move, we have treasuries and Bitcoin coming down at the same time together. Although the general trend on treasuries is kind of pushing up. We'll see what treasuries do, but treasuries coming down should be good for Bitcoin, but it's not so far. But them pushing up is bad. Like that's been pretty bad. Every time that we get a run up is like a Bitcoin crashing bear market situation. So yeah, I mean, just to go back to the BTC chart. You can see like this dump off the peak was right where the treasuries rallied, right here. And then off the previous peak, see November 18, and we got this pullback around July-ish somewhere. November. See, November is right where we started the rally, and then July right here, boom, that's where we got the pullback. So I mean, it lines up. Like the treasury trading actually leads Bitcoin moves a little bit. It's a leading indicator for what Bitcoin's about to do. But once you get an established treasury trend move, it's been really affecting the Bitcoin trading quite a lot. That's like the best chart that I can see relative to BTC, but it also trades with the S&P and the general margins and available margin loan, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think there's just like a storm of stuff coming at Bitcoin at the moment, and the treasuries haven't decided which way they're going to break. But if they break, I'll talk about it. It's coiling. I think that treasuries are going to shock everyone. I think the long end of the treasuries are actually going to go, trade to the upside, but that's going to be pushing the long end of the yields down. And right now we have the short end yields coming up, so it's going to flatten the yield curve, and it could even push it upside down. And I mean, if these rallied hard enough, it could push the long end negative. We have like an inverted yield curve with a negative. We've never had some stuff like that. That could happen. So we'll watch that. Anyway, this is the update on Bitcoin. We got just a ton of legal junk happening and an ugly chart. And until we break out of this downward wedge, I think we're more likely to cross over the wedge than we are to break out of it, though, because it's ugly. And yeah, watch that neckline, because you can get a gapping move pretty hard. Like we could just straight cross the wedge in like one shot on that neck break. Yep. All right. Not investment advice. Do your own research. Happy trading, and good luck.